Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So welcome everyone to our second class in this week's cultural workshops. Some of you already know me and some of you are new, and you also got to see my technical lack of knowledge here in technical stuff. So anyways, I'd like to reintroduce myself. So my name is Valerie Santillana, and I'm one of the interpreters at the Neichan Sephora Nahuatl School, or in Nahuatl you can say Tapatani. Occasionally, once in a blue moon, I am a substitute tamachtiani, so that means teacher in Nahuatl. Although I graduated from the program, which is a 9 months course, I still consider myself an ongoing student from of the Nahuatl language and culture. As soon you'll see, there is always so much more to learn, and there are so many questions we continue to ask our elders and whom you will meet tomorrow during our practice session, which I hope goes a lot smoother than this one did in the beginning, right? So none of these, no, I also want to say that none of these workshops would be possible without the support of our sponsors and without you, the students, because if there's no interest, then none of this would be happening. If you are watching the playback, please remember that every click, every like, every comment, any type of interaction that you have with our videos will help us continue spreading the Nahuatl language, culture, and our school's mission. So before we begin, just letting you know that because the format is a little bit different for me, sometimes it's a little hard for me to see the chat group. So I'm not able to always see the questions. So I invite you to please turn on your microphone. Don't feel bad about interrupting me. Just go ahead and say, hey, I have a question, etc. So questions are welcome. And so also at the end of the class, in case I forget, I want to briefly talk about the annual December gathering. So, because we have been talking about this in the chat group, back and forth. So I'll share with you any recent updates that I have. So just in case, are there any questions so far? Anything from yesterday or anything you want to know? All good? Okay, so let's begin. I'm just going to share my screen again. And please let me know if you see the documents. So does this look good? Yeah, okay,
Yep.
great. Thank you. So I apologize in advance because again, I can't really see my screen the way I normally can. So I won't be able to turn off my microphone or anything. So please, I apologize in advance in case my phone goes off or something. So let's see. Okay. So today's workshop is Nahuatisms in Salvadorian Spanish. So we debated, to give you some background about today's workshop, we debated whether or not to offer this class in English because the way it was originally designed is for a Spanish-speaking audience, specifically Salvadorian learners. As some of you may remember from yesterday's workshop with Alicia, she mentioned how the English language has many variants. Expressions used in the United Kingdom differ from those in Canada, the United States, or Australia. The same applies to the Spanish language. In the end, we decided to go forward with the workshop in English because it is still useful for several reasons. And I'm just going to mention a couple of them. So first, many of you speak Spanish, whether or not it is your native language, right? Some of you are becoming more close to it, you're learning it, or maybe it's your second language or your first language. So this class can help you understand how we Salvadorians speak it and how we naturally incorporate Nahuatl into our everyday Spanish. I remember Tamachtiani Hector a while ago. He said, we don't speak Spanish in El Salvador. We actually speak Nahuañol, right? So it's a combination of Nahuatl and Español. So you know how in English we say we speak Spanglish, right? Because we mix Spanish and English, or in Canada, the French, they'll say, oh, I speak Franglais, because they're mixing French and English. So it's the same concept here, except that it's with Nahuatl and Spanish. So And the second reason is the Nahuatl language didn't just influence Salvadorian Spanish through vocabulary, accents, because our Salvadorian accent, you'll notice that it is heavily influenced by the Nahuatl language, as well as some of the expressions that we use. The Nahuatl language also influenced many other languages around the world, as you'll see throughout this workshop. So let's begin by looking at the definition of a Nahuatism, right? So a Nahuatism is a word that has been adopted from the Nahuatl language into Spanish. So Nahuatl was an extremely important language in the Americas. It was spoken from what is now the southern United States all the way down to Nicaragua. So in other words, the Nahuatl people formed a vast cultural and political presence. So basically it was an empire. That's why it was such a popular language. When the Spanish arrived in these lands, they encountered many things that did not exist in Europe. They saw new foods, plants, animals, tools, and cultural items they had never seen before. And because they had no words for them, they couldn't describe what they were looking at. So instead of inventing new terms, they incorporated the existing Nahuatl words into Spanish. Of course, they didn't take the words exactly as they were. Instead, they Hispanicized them, gave it some Spanish flavor, making changes so the words would fit Spanish pronunciation. So let's look at some of these words. Now, many of you who have taken the class already, be it level 1 or maybe you're a graduate, you may recognize some of these words, and I invite you to please give the answers because some of the students are new. And again, some of them may not speak Spanish, so they may not recognize these words. But what we're trying to show in the following examples is that you're going to see how close the word in Spanish or in Nahuatl, like how close they are and how you can figure out what they mean. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with this one, aguagat. What is this? Any ideas? Again, don't be shy. No wrong answers. We're all learning
It's
here.
aguacate.
Correct, right? So it's avocado, right? And so you're also going to see one of the things that Alicia mentioned yesterday in the class is that the Nahuatl language also has variants, right? So in the variant of Santo Domingo de Guzman, which is the one that we teach, the letter K can either have a hard K sound or it can sound like the letter G in English, good, right? Whereas in other variants, the hard K is much more prevalent. So I think that's why avocado, like it has that k sound because it was probably influenced by maybe Mexican Nahuatl, just as an example, right? So here's another interesting fact about the avocado. So on this map, okay, so this is the scientific name of the avocado, Persea americana. Not sure if I said that right, but the word aguacate, right? That's the word in Spanish, is common in these countries colored in green, right? So it's the word that they use in Portugal, in Spain, in the Caribbean, also in Guinea, I'm saying it wrong, Guinea Equatorial, someone correct me, but it's a small country in Africa and they speak Spanish and that's where they use aguacate. But then you have some exceptions, right, in South America. So those ones in brown color, they use palta. They don't say aguacate. They use palta. But as you can see, aguacate, avocado, that's the most commonly used word. So let's check out another one. Elut. Elut.
Is it corn?
Correct, right? So in Spanish, it would be elote, right? So you can see the spelling is very close, right? So you have elut, and then in Spanish, elote. So it's corn on the cob, right? Exactly what you see here in the picture. The other thing I want to say about corn, in Nahuatl, every piece of this food has a name. So sometimes I'm not sure of the translation of each of these parts. So that's why the pictures are very important, right? So elote, it means this exactly, corn on the cob. Okay. Next one, let's see. Tumat. Tumat.
Tomato.
Correct. It's tomato. And one thing I find interesting about this word, tomato, in English, depending on the variant, be it the United Kingdom, I believe we have a student from Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So if I remember correctly, I think the British and the Australian, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think their pronunciation is much closer to Nahuatl because we say tumat. And sometimes I've heard British people say tomato, like very, has anyone else noticed that or is it just me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed it in the US South, some say tomato.
Right. So they see their accent seems a lot closer to the Nahuatl, right? Let's see, we got another one here. Chia. I think everyone will get this one.
I'm Salvadoreña but living in Australia. Sorry, just to go back to that other one. And they
Sure.
do, instead of saying tomato, they say tomato.
Right.
Yeah,
That is the pronunciation here in Australia.
we have a common saying in English, tomato, tomato, which means
Right.
it could be said either way.
Exactly. So, and that's what's interesting about the word, right? Because it comes from Nahuatl. So what about this one? Chill.
Chili.
Correct. Exactly. This one is pretty universal, I think, right? So it's the chili pepper. Let's see, we got another one here. Ayuh. Ayuh.
Ayote.
Correct. So it's referring to the squash, right? So any type of squash, including the pumpkin. Okay? So again, all these items that you're seeing here, they are indigenous to the Americas.
So
Uh,
are these words that are Nahuatl words, but are they also variations of Nahuatl as well?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In some of the screens, I think it's the next one coming up. Tamachtiani also added the Nahuatl Mexican so that you can see how close it is to the Salvadorian Nahuatl, the Santo Domingo de Guzman variant. And I lied, it's not this one. But I do want to say something about, but I will mention it when it comes up. I do want to say something about this word, shugud. So I also forgot to say a disclaimer. Salvadorian Spanish is not discussed or documented as widely as, for example, Mexican Spanish. So some of the terminology and some of the translations that you see here tonight, they required extra research, through Google, ChatGPT, and I even checked some Wikipedia articles in Spanish. But I want to say that none of this is written in stone. Like if we come across some words that you think they should have been translated in a different way, again, any constructive feedback that you have, it's welcome. But I wanted to give this disclaimer because there's not a lot of information on Salvadorian Spanish on the internet because, again, it's not widely documented. However, you are aware that our school is much more involved with Wikipedia. As a result, we are documenting more about our culture and our language. And we hope that over time, we may develop clearer and more accurate ways to translate or describe these concepts into English. So there's one interesting detail about the word shugud, linguistically speaking. So Spanish speakers traditionally cannot pronounce the sh sound, the sh, the sh sound. So instead, they simplify it by pronouncing it as the letter S. Okay. So some Spanish speakers, depending where they're from in Spain, right? Because they also have their own variants. Many cannot make that sound. I find that if they speak different languages, they can. Like, for example, if they speak English, they can make the sh sound because that sound is very commonly found in English. I mean, even in the spelling of it, right? English. It's there in the name, right? So this sound is not difficult for English speakers. I'm going to mention the artist Shakira, right, from Colombia. If you watch any interviews in Spanish from Spain when they are interviewing her, they don't say Shakira, they say Sakira because they can't pronounce the SH. So I don't know if any of you have picked up on that before, but next time if you're watching any of her interviews in Spain, right, specifically in Spain, a lot of them say Sakira, Sakira, because they can't say Shakira, okay? So when the Spaniards came into contact with the Nahuatl language, they couldn't pronounce the SH. So what did they do? They replaced it with the J sound. So the J sound in Spanish is equivalent to the H letter in English, right? So hotel, hi, how are you, right? So instead of shugut, it's going to be hugut, right? So that right there should help you figure out what this word means. So anything that you see with an SH, replace it with the h sound. So what's shugut?
Ocote.
Correct. So this is a fruit, and according to the translator, it's hog plum. But I know that this fruit also has other names in Central and the Caribbean in English. So this is what I found. Again, not written in stone, but I am open to suggestions. Eshut or ehut. Eshut. And it's a vegetable. We eat it all the time. Eshut.
Ejote.
Correct. So it's a green bean. Okay. Let's see. Next one. So shikama. Shikama.
Jicama.
Correct. So this one has two names. I found yam bean or jicama, I guess. But it's this fruit that you see here on screen. Yeah.
I actually hear that one. I hear the similarities in that, the shikama and the hikama. Like that sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, because
What's that?
again, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say this one's also a weird one. In English, we don't usually say the J like an English J.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that. I couldn't figure out how to say it because I've never seen this fruit outside of El Salvador.
We
So I
say
don't.
we just say jicama or shikama as well in English.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I'm in a cold country, so a lot of the fruits from the Caribbean and Central America are hard to find here. So I never hear them over here. Let's see. And let's see, next one. Shuti. Shuti. So this one is not commonly heard. So this one would be jute. So in El Salvador, they say jute, and it's a freshwater snail or a river snail. Okay. Let's see. Next page. One more. Let's see. Shilut. Okay, so this is the one I think we do have the Nahuatl version. So shilut. Shilut. So this one is jilote in Spanish. So this would be the baby corn or ear of corn, exactly what you see here in the picture. And then in the Mexican Nahuatl, Damachiani wrote this one because there's a hill. There's a hill in Mexico, so it's called Xilotepet, right? And that's how they spell it. And we also have a hill in El Salvador with a similar name, so it's like Xilotepet, but that's something that you're going to see throughout tonight's course. Let's see. So speaking of Shilo, oops, I'm gonna get out of this screen. So speaking of this hill, we're gonna play a video here that talks about, it's in English, so I'm not gonna summarize it, but please let me know if you can hear the sound. So let's do a quick test here.
Ancient civilization.
Can you hear it, guys?
It's really low and it's kind of choppy, but I can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lag, yeah, the connection is.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, let me try again because it could be my internet connection as well, you know, like maybe.
But I want to see it because it looks really cool.
Okay, it's a 2-minute video, right? So okay, let's go through it. That the eruption dramatically impacted the Maya world as well, altering trade routes and population patterns. So today, Ilopango sits as a peaceful lake, but it carries the memory of one of the most significant natural disasters in the region's ancient history. So yes, it is a short video, but it's very interesting. So I'll share the link with you guys at the end of the class.
And
So
this is the lake closest to San Salvador?
I believe so. I believe
Okay.
so. Yeah. It's always talked about, like they use it a lot for tourism. Like a lot of people go there, and so it's pretty famous.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the big lake to the east of San Salvador.
So I'm gonna go back to the presentation here. So let's see. Okay. So now we're gonna do the reverse. Okay. So I'm going to show you a word in Spanish or English, and you are going to tell me what it is and now what, because it's pretty close, right? So this one, I mean, come on, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Correct. Chocolate. Now, what's interesting about this word, okay, according to ChatGPT, because I was very curious about this, about 90 to 100 languages in the world use some kind of variant of this word. Okay, so like in English, right? Chocolate, in French, chocolat, you know, in Spanish, chocolate. And so either the pronunciation is similar or the spelling of it, right? I don't know for a fact, but it would not surprise me if this is the most popular word in Nahuatl all over the world. I mean, it's chocolate. I'm being biased here because I love chocolate. So,
And
okay.
No, I don't think you're wrong. No, I don't.
is
Right.
chocolate meant to be, so cacao is the like
Mhm.
ingredient? Is chocolate what you call it when it's mixed with things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like once it's prepared, and I think the next slide is the cacao. Let's see. Gagawat. Oh, it went the other way around. So I guess we're doing the reverse. So gagawat. What is gagawat?
No.
Cacao.
Correct. Yeah. Right. So that's what it's called in this form. Let's see, next word. We're going the reverse. So in Spanish is atol. In English, it's basically a corn hot beverage. Huh?
Atul.
Correct. Let's see. And let's go the other way. Tamal. What's a
Tortilla.
tamal?
Tortilla.
Correct. It's so interesting because in El Salvador and Mexico as well, if you say tamal, it's talking about the food, right? That comes wrapped in banana leaves. But tamal actually means tortilla. Tortilla in Spanish, it means an omelet, like because omelet is the word in French, right? So tortilla is the word in Spanish for omelet, but nowadays we use it to describe this, the tortilla, corn tortilla. Let's see. Next one. Guacamole. What would it be in English? Guacamole. Some people say guacamole, or depending where you are.
Yeah.
What is it in that one?
Aguacamole.
Correct. Right. So mul is basically making reference to something that has been mushed, has been grinded, right? So let's see. Ayuhuach. Ayuhuach. So if you've been to El Salvador, you speak Spanish, you would recognize this one. Ayuhuach, right? So ayuh, it means the squash, right? Or pumpkin. So this one would be pumpkin seed seasoning, or In El Salvador, we call it alguaste, alguaste, ayuhuach. Okay. And let's see. So how would we say a bowl or huacal in Nahuatl? See?
Gumi?
Nope, that's something else. But you
Oh,
know, wahga, right? So see how like huacal and then wahgal, right? Let's see. This one, so in Nahuatl, it's maquiliswat, maquiliswat. So in Spanish, you might be familiar with this tree. In English, it has a completely different name, maquiliswat. So it's referring to maquiliswat. So I found different names for this tree. So it's the pink trumpet tree. Its scientific name I found is Tabebua rosa or rosé. So this tree, because somebody was asking the other day, this tree is indigenous to the Americas. It's commonly found in Mexico and Central America. Yeah. And the other thing that Tamachiani likes to say all the time is if it has a word or a name in Nahuatl, is because it existed in our lands before the arrival of Europeans, right? So it's only when it's something new that we have to describe or come up with a new name for it because it's not originally from here. Okay. Let's see this one, the tacuatzin, tacuatzin.
Possum, tacuacin.
Correct. So it's this beautiful guy here. So Tamachini always likes to share this story about the tacuacin. I know for the students, you've heard this story. And for the new ones, this is going to be a new story. But I think it's important to always repeat the story because of the importance. So tacuatzin, there's a story behind this animal. So when you see the spelling in Nahuatl here, Takwazin, the suffix, right? So Tzin in Nahuatl is a form of reverence, right? And it's something that you have to earn. Not anyone can have this suffix on the word or in their name, okay? You have to earn it in the community. And this beautiful animal here, he earned it because legend has it that he's basically the Nahuatl version of the story of Prometheus. So he's the one that gave fire to the people, to Nahuatl people. So the story was that the deities or the demigods, they took away, or some guy up in a hill, he took away the fire from humans. And so different animals, they offered to get the fire, right? So you hear the story of the jaguar, the deer and all this, and none of them were able to obtain the fire, let alone the human beings. And so this guy, he was like, oh, I can get it. And everyone laughed at him. But he went up the hill, and when he obtained the fire, he didn't know how to carry it back down to earth. So he used his tail and as a little, torch, right? And so he came down the hill, running down the hill because he's burning, and he gives the fire to the human beings. But the exchange was, I'll bring you the fire in exchange that you do not hunt me, because sadly, some people do eat this animal, right? So he was basically doing that in exchange of don't hunt me, don't hunt the next generation, leave us alone. Sadly, humanity has not kept their end of the bargain, right? And the reason why the possum doesn't have fur on its tail is because, as a form of punishment from the deities, was basically, you're not going to grow back your fur on your tail, right? As a reminder of what you did. And it's important to know how sacred this animal is in the Nahuatl culture, because in El Salvador, the word in Spanish, right, tacuacin, is actually slang for someone who steals. Okay, so if someone in El Salvador is a thief, they'll call him or her, tacuacin, and they don't realize that they're actually using a reverence. So if more Salvadorians were familiar with the Nahuatl language, or if they spoke it, they would understand that it's actually contradictory to call a thief a tacuatzin, because it's a form of reverence. right? So that's why we're always talking about his story so that more people can hear it. If they didn't catch it the first time around in such and such class, they might catch it this time, right? Let's see. So what about this one, tecolote? How would we say that in Nahuatl? Right? So we're talking about this.
Tekulut.
Correct, right? Tigulut. So let's see. What about this one? Mish. Any guesses?
Mish,
Cat.
mish, mish.
Correct.
Gato.
Yeah, that is correct, right? So the cat actually has two words in Nahuatl. So it's mish. So in Nahuatl, when you see a hyphen before a word, it means that it needs a possessive adjective because it belongs to someone. So a mish is a cat that belongs to someone. If it's a street cat, right, doesn't have an owner, it's going to be mistun. Mistun. So that's a cat with no owner. And what's interesting is that mish is used all over. It's used all over Latin America because they'll say michi instead of saying mish. They'll say michi, and they call it michi when it's their cat. They'll be like, "Oh, mi michi, my michi." You know, they're referring to the cat, right? Chagaling. Chagaling. Who knows this one? Or if there are any guesses. So this one would be shrimp. Chagaling. And what's interesting is I think Tamachkiani said that in El Salvador, sometimes you do hear Salvadorians call it chagaling. So instead of saying camarón, they'll say chagaling. Okay. What about this one? So sanate or the great tail grackle. What's the wording now? What? Does anyone remember? There's this guy here, sanate. So this one would be sanat. Okay. So as you can see, you can hear the pronunciation is a little bit different, right? So it's sanat, and then in Spanish, sanate. Okay. Quetzal. I think this one is pretty
Quetzal.
correct. I think this one as well with chocolate. I think it's another one that does not lose. It doesn't lose its essence. Like I think it's the same word all across the word because it's such a very distinctive animal, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. What about this one? I think this one, chicote. So in El Salvador, they say chicote, and according to Google, it's a June bug. So in Nahuatl, let's see, it would be chigu. Chigu. This one was very hard to find in English, actually, because I was looking for a dictionary from Spanish to English, and chicote it cannot be found. Like it's very Salvadorian. This one here, I think everyone is going to guess this one because it is the same in English. Guyut. If it's not the sound, at least the spelling will give it away.
Coyote.
Correct. Correct. So in Spanish it's coyote, and in English it would be coyote. This guy. See? This is another one that doesn't change. Uselut.
Ocelot.
Correct. Yeah. So there's even one of the 14 departments in El Salvador, Usulutan, is named after this animal because in that area, Usultan, it basically means like land of the ocelots because this animal was in abundance in that area. That's why it's called Usulutan. Comes from Uselu. This one was also very difficult to find. So in Spanish is chiltota, and according to the translator, it's spot-breasted oriole. I guess that's its scientific name.
Toot.
Correct. Correct. Let's see, next one. Tsunpupu. So this is in Nahuatl. What is it in Spanish? So this one is in Spanish is sompopo. And in English, according to Google, it's maize leaf cutter ant, which does make sense. I'm like 70% confident that that's the name of it in English because these insects are actually more prevalent in the month of May. Yeah. In El Salvador. And one thing I wanted to say about this one, because so there is a story behind this guy, Tsunpupu. So there's a deity or demigod. I'm not sure if deity is the right word because in the Nahuatl culture, we don't have gods. You know, we have. So I guess the closest would be demigod. So it's just these entities that are much more powerful than humans. But for lack of a better word, I guess deity or demigod would be a better translation. But it's not a goddess and it's not God. So her name is Nahuatzin, and she lived many lives, which is why different stories exist about her. So in one of the most important stories, she is the reason we have corn. The story tells that one day Nahuatzin noticed some ants carrying corn kernels on their backs. Curious, she tasted the corn. She liked it and asked the ants where they had gotten it. So the ants refused to tell her. So Nahuatzin used strands of her own hair to tie around their waists and tighten it. When they still wouldn't answer, she tightened it again and again, cinching their waists so tightly that this became their permanent shape. Frightened, the ants finally revealed the secret and ran away so quickly that wings grew from their bodies, becoming the leaf cutter ants we know today. Nahuatzin then climbed the hill where the ants had found the corn and cracked it open. But because of the pressure beneath the earth, the hill exploded, causing her death and sending corn flying into the air, allowing people to receive it. And that is why today we have corn and why leafcutter ants have tiny waists and wings. Okay? So, and this is another popular one, papalut.
Oh,
Papalut.
Valerie, did you say that last story about Nahuatzin that was a story from Huitzapán? Or
Yes, the elders in the community. Yeah,
Oh.
because Nahuatzin, she has a lot of stories. And if I remember correctly, take this with a grain of salt. If I remember correctly, in the Mexican Nahuatl, Nahuatzin is a man.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes even in Itzalco stories, he might, or Nahuatzin might be a man, possibly.
Yes. Yeah. At the same time, like, so in some Mexican stories, Nahuatzin is male. In Santo Domingo de Guzman, she is female. But we also have to keep in mind that she has many lives.
Mhm.
So as we're talking right now, who's to say that maybe in one life she came back as a male, and another one she came back as a female. And that's why you see so many stories about this entity,
Ayush.
right? And the next one, let's see, this one, papalut. I think some of you know this one, papalut.
Butterfly.
Correct. And what's interesting is one of the things that has been mentioned about this one, papalut, sometimes it's talking about very specific butterflies. For example, they're so big, it's like the size of two hands, like some of them, right? In El Salvador. Again, this is in El Salvador. This one, pichiche. So in Spanish, it would be pichiche. Its scientific name is black-bellied whistling duck. And it's very close to Nahuatl as well. So again, because the Spanish couldn't pronounce the sh, they changed it to a ch, pichiche. So it would be pichichi. So again, this duck is indigenous to Central America. Mapachin. Mapachin.
Raccoon.
Raccoon?
Correct. And so mapachin, so in Spanish is mapache, in English is raccoon. But I think raccoon in English. It also comes from one of the Native American languages, if I'm not mistaken. What's interesting is that raccoon, it's also in the, I forget the name of the Native American language. I think it starts with a P. And it's also, it's similar to the definition in Nahuatl. So mapaching, so ma, it comes from hands. Ba comes from the verb to wash. And then chin, because it's a very cute animal. So this animal washes its food, like it wets it with water. Because he doesn't, this animal, if I remember correctly, it cannot produce saliva. So it has to wet the food in order to be able to chew it and make it easier to consume it. And some people say, no, it actually washes its food because it's a very hygienic animal. Right? Let's see. So this one is similar to Nahuatl. So costal. So this word, like it's a bag, it's a sack, but I couldn't find the word of this exact material because it's not just any bag. It's these types of bags that you use for, potatoes, grains. You see them all the time in farms. So, but I can't remember the word in English, so I just put it as a bag, but it's this one specifically. So in Nahuatl is gushtal, right? Gushtal. So it's talking about those big bags. Okay? And then we have, this one is the same in English, but it's not the word that you think, but it is in English. Shu. Shu.
Go.
Oh,
Yes, correct. Right? So in Spanish is vete. In English is, like, I'm not making it up, right? Like it is used in English, like shoo,
oh yeah,
shoo.
like shoe fly, don't bother me. There's a song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's exactly saying shoot. And if I remember correctly, it is used in all English speaking speaking countries, sorry, like the United Kingdom, Australia, right, Canada, the US, right? Shoot. It means exactly the same thing. Leave. And this one here, so in Spanish, it would be tecomate. Now, so again, based on the research, it's calabash, I think. It's some type of fruit or something. They dry it up and you can make a container out of it, and that's where you can carry your water. So in Nahuatl is tegumat. Tegumat. Yeah. So it's a water container, but I think it's made of calabash.
Sometimes we even call them bottle gourds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also found that word, gourd, but I'm like, I'm not sure because I couldn't find images of it. So I wasn't too sure. So I went with this one because this one did have a picture of it. So thank you for sharing that. Megat. I think this one this is going to be a little harder. So this one, it means rope. And again, if you type in Google mecate in Spanish, it doesn't come up. It doesn't come up. So I really had to go into Wikipedia to find this one. So it's this type of rope. So in Nahuatl is mecate. This one, I think many of you know this one. So gakti.
Shoes.
Shoes.
Shoes. Yeah.
So kaite, yeah. And if I remember correctly, it's referring to sandals, but in Nahuatl, it can be any type of shoe, any type of footwear. This one here, so metate, it's pretty similar. It's referring to this, right? So the grindstone. So in Nahuatl, it would, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying meta. Yeah, sorry.
Correct, metat. What about this one? Mata. So this one, this is another one that I couldn't find a translation for it. So in Spanish, they say cebadera, but in El Salvador, not just any Spanish, this is a Salvadorian Spanish. Cebadera is referring to a bag that is a combination of mesh and woven. I couldn't find a name for this specific texture and material, but it's exactly what you see here in the picture. And you find them everywhere in the markets in El Salvador. And I just couldn't find the name of it, the name for it in English.
It's kind of like crocheted almost, but usually that entails like it's yarn or wool or something like that, but it's kind of like woven, yeah, in that same way.
Yeah, so that's why again the images are so helpful. So let's see. Next one, some of you guys know this one, chan. So we got
Home.
yes. So in El Salvador, Tamachtiani says, especially with the youth, like teenagers, they'll say, "Oh, you know, mi chante, mi chanti, like let's go to mi chanti, like let's go to my house." So because it has a hyphen before the word, it means it needs a possessive. So it's interesting how the Salvadoran youth, they say mi chanti, right? So it's my chanti, my home. So in Nahuatl you say nuchan. So somehow they kept the same structure grammatically, but instead they're saying it in Spanish. Mhm.
There's a hostel in El Sonte called
Mhm.
Michanti, and I didn't know that was what the name, what that meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in Mexico, I think in Mexico they say chante, right? Chante. In El Salvador say chanti, but in Nahuatl is chan. And this one here, huipil. So in El Salvador we say huipil. In English it would be any type of blouse. In Nahuatl is huipil, huipil. Yeah. Then this one, tianguis. In Spanish it would be tiangue, and it means a market. So some Salvadorians, they'll say el tiangue, or they'll say mercado. I know that in Mexico, they say tianguis, exactly how you see the spelling here. They'll say, let's go to the tianguis. Yeah. This one here is it's the same, comal. So it's it's a clay griddle. Yeah, it's a gumal, right? This one,
The best pupusas are on a comal.
that is correct. That is correct. And so this word here, pipil, right? So as Alicia was saying yesterday, it does not mean what people think it means. It actually means child. It is not the name of our language. It does not mean Nahuatl. It does not mean Nahuatl people either. And again, this is another word, just like with the Tacuatzin. We're always repeating this in every class, like every opportunity that we have. So in case someone doesn't see it the first time around, maybe they'll catch it in this video. So for anyone else watching, pipil is not the name of our language. It's actually very offensive because it infantilizes our Nahuatl people. It actually means child. Okay? So here we're going to go through we will talk about this in more detail in other classes. And so these are, I made the mistake of saying that this was in English, right? So Panchimalcu is in Nahuatl, but in English is Panchimalco. It's actually Spanish, but I think it's fair to say it's going to be the same thing in English because, you know, when they visit El Salvador, they can't translate the names, right? So it's going to be the same. So, but I will give you the translations to some of these. Tamachtiani usually goes through each one, and usually Salvadorian speakers, you know, Salvadorians, they can figure out what it means. But, you know, because in this class we speak English, and some people haven't been to El Salvador, so they're not going to recognize the name of some of these cities. But I'll give you what the translation. So Panchimalcu, it means place of shields and flags. Guzgatan is land of necklaces. One thing about this word, Guzgatan, that is the name of El Salvador. Like that is the original name in Nahuatl. However, keep in mind that El Salvador did have other indigenous groups that were not Nahuatl. We have Lenca, we have Maya. So they don't always like the word Guzgatan because in their language, they have a different name for El Salvador. But the reality is Nahuatl was the dominant one because about 65% of the population or the region, what is now known as El Salvador, was Nahuatl. So that's why Guzgatan is the more popular name. But just keep in mind that there are other names for El Salvador. So Tenancingo means the place at the feet of the little wall. Guatepet means the hill of the serpent. Ilamatepet means the hill of the old woman. Senzunat, it means countless waters. Sensutepet means countless hills. Number 8, Dutepet, sacred hill. Guzgatat, where am I? The last one here. Guzgatancingo, at the feet of Guzgatan. Next one here, next column, number 10. Oh my goodness, I'm not pronouncing this well. I'll say it in Spanish, Ahuachapan. This one means where the dew abounds. Next one, number 11, Texistepet, the hill of the egg. Number 12, Shilupangu, place where baby corn abounds. Suyapangu, place where palm trees are abundant. Metapan, abundance of grinding stones. Gumalapan, or in Spanish, Comalapa, that used to be the name of the airport in the capital. It means where clay griddles are abundant. Apanegat, it means where the wind is abundant. Second last one, Xalatenangu, means place surrounded by water and sand. And the last one, Quetzaltepet, again, the famous bird, hill of the Quetzal. Okay, so that's basically it. And if you guys don't mind, we can play a little game. If we still got time. Yeah, we still got time. So if you have, before we go into the game, are there any questions so far? Anything that you want to ask about?
Just out of curiosity, have the other nations shared what they call Cuscatán or El Salvador?
You know what? That's a very good question. We can ask Tamachtiani in the chat because I don't know. Because see, I'm only familiar. I've only been studying Nahuatl, but he might know what the other names are because again, you have Lenca, you have Maya, and even in Lenca and Maya, they have their own variants. So, but it would be interesting to know. We can ask him in the chat if he can share it tonight or for one of the other cultural workshops, and we can share it as a little extra information.
Yeah, I would be interested in hearing that too, because I always feel bad hearing about how, we are doing such really good work at revitalizing Nahuatl, and unfortunately, the Lenca and Eastern El Salvador, the prospects are a lot, less optimistic, unfortunately, and that always makes me feel really bad because of the disparity there.
And the thing is that we're always open. We're always open to collaborating with other people and with other indigenous groups. Because just because we're focusing on Nahuatl, it doesn't mean that there's no room for others, because at the end of the day, we do share the land, right? We have a lot of common ancestry. And this is the other reason why it's so important to share the work that we do. We're not sharing it to become dominant. We're sharing it to also, help the language flourish, but also because we're open to collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, when I look at my own history of my family, I have people who were technically born in like Lenca, towns, but also people who were born in Western El Salvador and like Tepecoyo and places like that. So it's like we're so much connected as people. So we really should support each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. And so I'm just making a note of that because I will ask Tamachtiani. And this is actually recent information that I learned. So I'm wondering if somebody reached out to the school and said, hey, or we just happened to come across it by chance. Because again, the more we do this work, the more we find out because other people are sharing their stories, right? Because we do have students from many different parts of the world with different ancestral background, right? So again, little by little, we're finding out more information. So I'll get back to you on that one for sure. And any other questions? Tesu. Okay, so we're gonna go to the game. If you're welcome to participate, right? Because you need to have a phone handy. So please let me know if you don't, But what I'm gonna do here, it's gonna show you a QR code. Actually, hold on. Let me share the link. No, actually, no. Let's see here. See here. I'm just okay. Let me know if you see a QR code come up on the screen. So it's just downloading. Can everyone see it?
Yes, but I think that you need to have the app in order to play that.
Oh, my apologies.
It took.
I think you
you
can do
could
it
go
on
on
the
the website.
browser. Yeah.
Hey, let
Oh, okay.
me send the link just in case. No, I knew there was something I was forgetting. So I've shared the link on the phone. Okay, so let me know when, and I'm going to take attendance. Okay. Let's see, we got Brooklyn, Gabby, V. Okay. So do we have everyone?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what's going to happen is when you go into the game, it's going to give you multiple choice questions, right? It's going to ask you, what is this and now what? And the answers are in English, except for true or false. We weren't able to translate that into English. So if you see it with an F, it means false. Okay? All right, here we go. Level 1. And as you're answering the questions, remember to also run because there's a robot chasing you,
Oh.
right? Yes.
How do we? Oh.
Yeah, it's on the phone. So,
Oh. Okay.
so as they say in Nahuatl, shimutalugan, right? So shimutalugan, it means run, run, right? Correct.
Okay. Ah.
Next level.
Okay.
So you have to go into the green squares.
It's not giving me that option for some reason. It says connection refreshing. So
Oh, okay. Anyone else having issues with it? Oh, everyone's safe. Yes. So everyone passes to the next level.
Yay.
Okay. So you have to move to the green squares. That's the safe area. Oh,
Yay. Oh.
oh. Okay, so we lost 2 players.
Oh no.
Okay. Oh, okay. So this one, only 3 people. There's a limit. Yeah, correct. You guys are pretty good at this. Yeah, so you can.
This is starting to feel like Squid Game, but now what?
No, it
We're
does.
learning.
It's now what Squid Game.
Yes. Okay, so this is the next level. Level 2.
Ah. Okay. Oh.
I know it's pretty nerve-wracking.
Ah. Not doing as good on the second time.
Excellent. Yes, so
Get in there. Get in there.
yeah,
Ah.
almost got it. Oh,
Ah.
yeah, this one is a little tricky, yeah. Yep.
I think I died. Did I die?
Oh, I died.
It is Squid Games.
It's pretty much, yeah. Oh, this one is has smaller space.
It's not actually, it's really weird because it was not letting go up at all.
Oh. So I think it's is it repeating the level?
I think we're on level 2.
Think so too. Is it repeating the questions or?
I had a few repeats, but I'm getting new ones.
Okay. Oh, you guys made it to the next one.
Come on. Get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Tesu.
This yeah. Oh, I think most of you made it.
Oh. Oh, are we get back? I got back alive. Oh, no, I didn't. I was disconnected and I didn't see. That's okay.
Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Whoops.
Okay.
Let's see if I can just try a different one.
I think we are
So-
repeating the level, yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. So just gonna so do you guys want to play one more game, or do you want to or any other questions have surfaced, for example?
I'm cool with playing one more game if we want.
All right. Let's see.
Sure.
So we're gonna go to another one here. So again, it's the same idea of answering questions, right?
Okay, so do we need a new pen?
Let me see. I'm not sure.
Or it says mine says new pin or game
Yeah.
pin.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a new pin.
All right. So it's gonna come up on the screen.
Another QR code or the pin?
Yes. Both. So
Okay.
it's just downloading right now.
Okay.
So there's the pin. So for this one, you're going to be working in teams. So we have 1, 2, 3. So we have, do we have 7 people? So if we can get
Oh.
people.
I'm not doing the game.
Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's start with the rat team. So if we can keep it as even as possible. So we're gonna make 2 teams. Or do you guys mind being on your own? Like you can choose whichever team.
How can I go back? Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
so
we can do our own if we want.
Okay,
Or do we
all
want to
right.
do teams?
because there's 4 teams, right? But we don't have enough people to fill them in equal numbers.
I'm in raton.
I can be
Okay.
on my own. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Is everyone good? Can we start?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Oh. Now, how do we do?
No, highlighting. Yes.
How do
Yeah. So right now it's just introducing the teams,
we? Okay.
and once it's done, it should come up with the questions.
Okay.
So the idea is whoever gets to the top of the pyramid first is the winner.
Oh, here's the daily.
Question 1.
Pregunta uno. Okay. Oh.
Blouse.
Oh. Oh.
I can help you guys. I'm telling you what to do.
We got it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see who advances. Oh, so the Fox team goes up.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Raton.
So someone, oh, there we go.
What am I? I can't. A marmot? Is that what I am? I can't tell.
I think so. So where it says falso, that means false, right? So true or false. Tianguis means comal.
Did we get it? Did we get it?
Everyone got it.
Woo.
Let's see. Oh, what does guman refer to? Perfect. Everyone got this one. Oh, you guys are moving up. Next question.
Getting to the top of Tazumal.
That's right. Okay, so which place is Guzgatan? Wow, this one you guys responded faster. Look at that. Correct. Oh, getting close.
Oh, getting to the top.
What does pipil mean?
Oh, okay, we know. Look at us. We're such good students.
That's right.
We're listening, Valerie. Don't worry.
So everyone won. Everyone made
All
it.
unbeatable.
There you go.
Yeah, yes.
Nah,
So-
what? Nah, what? Nah, what?
Let's see here. So
I think we got to end there. I'm going to end on a win.
yes, there we go. So
Yes.
this was this was excellent. Thank you so much, you guys. So, are there any other questions before we move to the last one? No, we're good. But in case you do, please let me know. So I'm just gonna oh, I think the game is still going on. I can hear the music. So just let me stop it. There we go. Okay, so for our final topic, it's the annual December gathering. So if you are interested in staying updated on all the developments for this event, you can join the WhatsApp group. I'm going to share the link in the WhatsApp group for the cultural workshops, right? I'll share that at the end of the class. So tonight, I think, is also the deadline to place your order for the regalia, right? So you can either order a huipil, a blouse, or maybe just the skirt, or you can order the whole outfit. So we have for both men and women, right? So you can let Tamachtiani know what you would like, because I think tonight is the deadline. Please keep in mind that Tamachtiani does not handle shipping, only because it can be complicated, right? Especially when we're doing large orders, right? So just to not get anything wrong, it's the reason why we don't really do shipping, but maybe in the future this could change. I do believe, however, there is someone in the group that was volunteering to ship some of your materials, or if you have any friends and family in El Salvador that can ship them for you, right? They can get in touch with Tamachtiani because we're going to be in Santo Domingo de Guzman, so that's where he's going to distribute it. But in case he's somewhere else, they can make other arrangements. But just to confirm, just talk to Tamachtiani. As always, you know, this goes without saying, your donations to the fundraiser are warmly welcome. If you're unable to contribute financially, that's completely okay. Many people donate secondhand clothing, non-perishable food items. For children, they donate notebooks, books, toys. Some people in El Salvador, they'll even bring fruit from trees in their own garden. So as you can see, any contribution you can think of is appreciated. And of course, if you have any questions specifically about the gathering, about the event, you can always ask in the WhatsApp group. You know, so for example, if you're going to be in El Salvador and you need a ride, or you have any other questions, you can make them in the chat group. Some people are not going, but they just want to know what's going on. You know, because you never know, they could go next year and they're more prepared, right? So I'll share that information in our group, the cultural workshops. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. So I guess that's it. Anything else I may have missed? No, we're good. No, excellent. So I guess that's it. Payush, thank you thank you for your patience, and we'll see you tomorrow at the practice session. So
Nyawa.
Yeah.
Payush.
Payush.
Ciao.